whyuce podcast, a unique blend of comedy and fiction, dive right into controversial topics. We believe that during these difficult subjects, it's important to find humor in them. We tackle these topics with our signature wit and humor, inspired by the fearless and bold Samoan humor that dares to explore the darker side of life. Welcome back, my fellow coconuts. Today we're going to be covering our continued topic of Asian American Pacific Island Heritage Month, cover our mental health awareness, and we're going to talk about obesity spread all over the Pacific Islands, our thoughts on that. Remember, these are just our opinions, and then your inner circle, best friends, how does it affect you mentally and physically, and also word of the day or thought of the day. And lastly, Chat GPT, taking $100 and making it into a profit. Unfortunately, we didn't get to chat today with our Gab bag, but she'll be for unforeseen reasons. But don't worry, guys. Life goes on, but she will be joining us on whyuce. Stay tuned.
Happy hour. Happy hour. Happy hour. Happy hours. American Asian Pacific Islander Heritage. We're just going to continue that conversation. Acknowledge our people for this special month. Obesity spread all over the Pacific Island. I bring this up to you, Queen, because it's a common thing. Should I say it's a stigma now, stamped on our islanders, that we are supposed to be or born big, giants. Some say fat, fluffy. Some say it's just giants. I don't know what to call it. I bring this up because I feel like the world put you guys on game. We weren't always big. What's your thought on that, Queen?
In the early days, if we look at the pictures and the diet of our ancestors and our elders, they were here today to tell us we're overweight. I mean, it's evident through the diets and everything that we're going to talk about as we go on this podcast today. And I'm glad you brought this topic up because it is a very important thing to make aware of. Also part of a mental health situation. Some people may be struggling with obesity. And I'm glad we're focusing on obesity in the Pacific. And it's just not the American Samoans, but like you said, it was in the Pacific. And my thoughts are it's very important to bring awareness to this also, because some people say that, we're fluffy, we're big people, we're born big bone. But if you really look, remember, this is just our opinion. This is just our opinion. We're just talking freely here.
Hello.
When people say, quote, we are big bone, unquote, what do you mean big bones? So we have bigger bones compared to other humans? If you look from then and look at now, you can see the history of how we got to be overweight.
The difference. There's so many ways to start this, but I'm going to go ahead and start it from, could it be like, is it in your DNA? And the reason why I bring that up, I see a lot of my father's side, the shoulders, the hips, not particularly obesity side, but just big bones. Now we're going back to our topic. Could it be a DNA thing? That's what I first thought about, because I really don't want to blame anybody of the reason why, us islanders, the obesity percentage is very high. Tons of documentaries, studies on this. Some study were said because us islanders, we're like farmers. When we prep our meal, in order for us to eat, everything is labor intense. There's no such thing. We didn't have machines. So we did a lot of things physically. We didn't even have cars. So we did a lot of walking. But that was back in the time. Now, fast forward in the late 90s, when I was raised in American Samoa, having a car as a teen was unheard of. So if somebody in high school had a car, that was such a big thing. And you got to remember, we didn't even have phones or anything like that. So the only way to get home, and home was what? I want to say 3 miles away, maybe 4 miles. And that's a lot of students. It's either you catch the bus, but majority of us walk.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of walking. And when you count the weather in the climate in Samoa, it's humid. Like you're in the sauna, think the whole sweating and the whole walking. And then when you put in our chores, I mean, we're using machetes to just weed down the weeds on the field. And then we're actually climbing coconut trees, mango trees. There's a lot of physical work. And that's from like 5 in the morning, pretty much all the way to like 3 to 4 p.m. before you even have dinner. Another thing I believe is the eating. Yeah, we believe in breakfast because we're American Samoa, but those were the kind of only two meals you had. You had breakfast, wasn't which was not like a big thing. If you notice, I didn't mention fast food because we didn't have fast food. Fast food did not reach American Samoa until I want to say like either the end of 1999 or the beginning of 2000. And I was already off the island by that time. I hate to say that I would blame it the fast food chains now that's reached all the islands. You've been to American Samoa more recently than I have. I can't say anything about it because it's been 2 decades that I haven't been back home. The change of the daily work, because now fast forward, I'm in America, so that's out the door. Doing chores, because you're doing chores every day, 7 days a week. There's no such day as like time off. I come here to America, and I 7 days a week I have all the time in the world, and then just enjoying these fast food where my own hands or physical body have to go prepare and then cook it. Such a big difference. That's where I see a lot of islanders, the change of lifestyle and culture wise.
Right.
As you know, our country, we're blessed. We are blessed beyond measure when it comes to food. Whenever you're hungry, it doesn't even cost that much to even go get something to, put in your system to keep you whole. And that's where I'm at with that, Queen.
Those are very good topics. I mean, pointers you talked about for the topic on obesity within our, Pacific Islands. And we mentioned a little bit about the Polynesian bodies. A lot of people say we Polynesians typically have larger bone and muscle mass than anyone else, correct?
I can agree with that. Yep.
Yeah. But however, it doesn't account for, the high rates of cardiovascular disease or type 2, the diabetes, so etc. But that's what's out there. And then when you mention the change of diet, because we understand that in the beginning of the 20th century, the earlier where we had visitors, missionaries come into the Pacific Islands introducing and influence local food habits. For
Mm,
instance, remember we boil, you make suia. That's like, for those who don't understand, is, you boil the hot
fish.
water
Mhm.
fish. Local influence taught how to fry using oil,
Yep.
different way of cooking. Because I know our folks ate fish raw, straight out the ocean, or just do a sweet. That's how I understand. But it's the local food habits. It's the outside influence. And when you mentioned fast food in American Samoa, we did have little restaurants that cook burgers and they had pizza. But the fast food chain, you're right. When you left 1999, I want to say it was 2000 when the first fast food chain opened up down there. I remember being in that line just getting, a taste of America, so called. The first McDonald's was open out there. It's the change and the influence of outsiders come into, the islands, and our diets start to change and our way of doing things start to change. The vehicles start coming along, and you always heard our parents, they used to talk all the time. You guys are spoiled these days. We wake up, we have to do our chores 5 o'clock in the morning, make breakfast, and their breakfast was, I know my mom told me it was just fish and taro or fish and banana. and that was their breakfast. And then they will walk to school. And when my mom mentioned where she walked from to go to school, that is a long walk.
And it
They
was
didn't
a
have vehicles.
and it was
Huh?
and it was inclined too,
Yes,
going up the
yeah.
hill.
Yeah, going up the hill, down the hill, and doing it all every day, back and forth. And then they come home and continue to do their chores until sundown, then family prayers, in the evening. And we still saw that growing up, going back and forth to Samoa, that was still kind of a thing that was going on. But the change was you have vehicles now. When you go to the store, we could go with our auntie and uncle drive, but the stores sometimes are close, we walk. But nowadays, nobody walks. It's an inconvenience. It's a lot of inconveniency these days. And that can contribute a lot to the obesity, not just for the Pacific Islanders, but for a lot of, I'm no doctor. I'm no, no nutritionist or whatever, but it's obvious, it's evident, it is there. It is the influence of what is being brought into the islands or the influence of us coming out here and see what's available. Now you have a lot of decisions. So it basically it's up to you to eat right or not. We are what we, eat.
Before the fast food restaurants were out there, Crystal Burgers,
Crystal Burgers,
A&A's Pizza,
Milo Valley Burgers,
Milo Valley Burgers. Shout out to y'all. Did you realize that it took a long time before you get your meal? But we didn't even know that. We were fine, still waiting. The difference of culture change. That's why I just wanted to bring that up because now being in America for so long, all of a sudden, like I'm ungrateful and being impatient. This kind of just talking about this reminds me to like, bruh, you know what I mean? You need to remember the thing called humility.
yeah,
Remember where you came from,
yeah.
And you say decision making, and that is so true. I don't want to say that I looked up any statistics because a lot of other pods are so good at that kind of stuff. The good thing we are coconuts. Because I just thought about this, cousin. I don't really see or witness a lot of folks from Wupolu have that kind of issue. I think it's more of American Samoa. Now, this is the only reason why I'm saying this is because maybe I'm only seeing it on TV, but even just documentaries, it states when you see, Samoan people from the island of Upolu and Savai'i, you don't see that very much because the fast food chain is not really heavy out there, and they're still doing the I wouldn't say old ways, but just the Samoan way, which is trippy to me. Now, the one thing that did stand out is when you said disease and stuff like that is what they do port in to us. There was a documentary. Remember these things that we call turkey tail,
Mm-hmm.
mulipipi, pretty much all the bad things that
Perhaps Mamoy.
yes, all the bad parts. Other countries that was porting in the stuff to our islands, they were pretty much importing because I was
Let's say
able to
all the low cuts, the the unimportant cuts of the meat.
well, not only just the unimportant, just the ones that they don't even eat. That even that culture consider that, oh, it's bad meat, bad cut. That's another reason I feel like, and again, I'm not saying that I'm blaming other countries for the import, but those are the stuff that we it comes to where we're talking about. I wouldn't say ignorance is the word. It's just not knowledgeable enough or understanding of the meat that they're giving us for our folks that was approving these stuff at that time. I think time has changed and our people are much aware because you do see fitness being promoted. Now the crazy thing about it is fitness is really only promoted in the US and in American Samoa, majority wise compared to other countries, because we fall short like how we are here in the country. We have that issue of food because we're so blessed with it.
It's very accessible.
I also remember this one person saying, I think he was a missionary. He said him and his wife went out to somewhere, in those third world countries. They were raised in America, but they went on their mission. Fast forward, probably came back like maybe 10, 20 years. I don't know how many years, but it was long. Long enough to where when his wife sent him into the grocery store to go, grab a box of cereal, the poor missionary dude walked back out in awe, like, honey, which cereal do you want? Because we have so much variety. We have so much choices, and I'm not going to sit here and act like trying to blame other people for the abundance that we are blessed with. It all comes to self-control, people.
Self-control, isn't that such a beautiful thing?
Yeah, but
Very difficult. It's difficult.
this thing about weight loss, my whole life, you as my witness, I was skinny all the way into my mid-30s. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I had a little gut started happening in my like mid-20s, and I was proud of it because at that time we were all about trying to have that beer gut because none of us had it. We've been bony our whole time or skinny, slim. Now that I'm in my 40s, it is so hard to get off the weight. And I actually tried a few years ago. As we all know, it's been scientifically proven, it's been advertised. As you age, your immune system or your hormones, whatever they call that fitness, the steroids or the hormones of your body is no longer active to where when you work out, it's not the same. And that statement is so true because it took me like literally 3 years to shed at least like almost 60 pounds. And this was helping because I was international at that time. 3 years out away from America. Uh, it's not really good to drive around the city that I was in. So we did a lot of walking, and I was inspired because that's what the country was. This
Mm-hmm.
country was all about walking. Everything was all about walking, and there were so many stairs in Asia. Oh my gosh, there were so many stairs. But you become accustomed to it, and it's such a great feeling. When you wake up, you feel great. And I never ate so much vegetables in my life. I used to always complain that these Asian restaurants will give us more vegetables and less meat.
Yeah.
But that's how it is in Asia. They are all about more vegetables and less meat, to even out the diet, which I found so good. But where I'm getting at is because we're talking about mental health awareness. I got back here to the US. And when I say cousin, it literally only took 4 months for me to gain all those pounds back. And when I say I was depressed, I didn't realize I was depressed because I was just like, fuck it, man. Fuck this workout shit. But
Yeah.
not realizing that really is a depression thing,
Mm-hmm.
which then a year later, I find out that I'm diabetic, high blood pressure, or at the border of being diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
That even tore me down even more. And then I try to do things like go seek the Lord in church. That wasn't working anymore because I was always in church.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't prive away from the disappointment and depressed that I felt because it always lingered in my mind like, oh my gosh, I busted my ass 3 years and all it took was 4 months
4 months to get it
to
all back.
how hurt that is. Like, so even like fast forward to now in the present, I have great relatives, our cousins, right? That are fitness people. They're encouraging, and I love that. Only when I'm around them, I think it's like I feel like I'm a person that adapts to working out and feeling in the fitness around my own circle,
Mm-hmm.
which I do need to do since I'm away from you guys. I'm like all the way in the East Coast. So I got to get in the habit of venturing out there, knowing my neighbors, like what me, you, and Guys So Smooth talked about on
Yep.
the WEFOBZ podcast, because that's what we
Yes.
want for our kids, our nieces and nephews, and our family. That's a lot of load I've just put on there, Queen, but that's where I'm at.
Absolutely. The food portions you were talking about, were when you were in Asia. That's a great example of comparing the amount of food off there. Veggies more than meat. Here, whatever restaurant you go to, a lot of it, the portions are so big, it's enough for 3 people.
Hello.
And we have been so accustomed to eat that much that even though you're full, you still eat. But our bodies as humans, we know it's not built that way. Veggies is easy to digest, you keep going, going. So you're right. I can see how you lost so much weight because it was all the walking, because hardly any vehicles. Well, I'm not saying no vehicles, but it's like the culture out there was just to walk.
Yes, the culture.
Just go out there and walk. That's how back in the islands used to be. I remember when going there as a young person. Walking was everything. You walk to the next village or to the store, and the change of everything that's going on and the struggles that people go through, not even realizing, like you didn't realize you were depressed because sometimes you just have to sit there and evaluate, or you hear someone talk about something, then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I am depressed. Shit, I'm trying to do this and that. It's not working. And I'm glad that we're talking about this because transparency is important, and to even identify what's going on with us individually. And I too am going through some medical stuff, and I'm addressing it as we speaking. And that's why it's important to always go to, our doctor's appointment, because, diabetes run heavily in our family. And like when you say, is that, is do we get that from our parents, our grandparents? All of a sudden it became like it's heredity for us to get those sicknesses and illness. So we got to start making that change for the future of our young generation in our family, is to live by the example, and hopefully we can, you know, reverse whatever we're doing right now to become more healthier. And that's just taking one step at a time every day, because like you said, 4 months to get all that back is so easy just to lose ourselves,
Yeah, yeah.
where when we just get too comfortable and complacent. And then next thing you know, the glimpse, you just wake up and like, holy shit, what the hell? But it's nice to identify what's going on, and then we address it. We talk about it. That's the release of another stress, because we're talking about it. But yeah, we can keep talking about it, but the true healing part is actually applying what we need to do when we talk about it. So when we talk about it, you act on it, because a lot of talk with no action is dead talk.
And there you go, folks. You heard it from me and Queen. We are not perfect, but we are being transparent, and we are trying our best to do it with actions instead of just talking about it. Is there anything that you're doing? Well, let me go ahead and share about what I'm doing when it comes to action. What I'm doing is it's a family event that me and my family do. Is we because we have a gym here, and we try out tennis, and then we also swim. Thank God the pool's open now. We do a lot of swimming,
Nice.
and then a lot of outdoor stuff. We try to involve our kids to go do some hiking and stuff like that. Uh, I feel like when our boys are in town, when they're visiting, for me and my wife, we become like young adults, feeling like young adults, because the competitiveness kicks in, and
Yeah.
just so our kids challenges us through that, which is a healthy way to go. And that's where I'm at with that part. And then also our family with our Fitbits, right? We're talking about that, getting all that working. We just got to reach out to our family members to let that Fitbit challenge go.
Yeah, get it started. What I'm doing on my end is little things to change, and then becoming a habit. So one of the things I've done, instead of like parking close to, like if I go to the store, I'm going to
Yeah.
park a little far away so I can walk to the
Yeah.
store instead of trying to be right in front.
Those
Another
little,
thing,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Keep going.
Another thing is, if you have an option of taking the escalators or the stairs, I'll take the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
Although it's tiring, but guess what? The more you do it, the more you're waking up your muscles, and expanding your lungs so you can start breathing some more, because haven't been doing workouts like I usually do back in the days. You two know how I was back in the days. I was very athletic, all about
Mhm.
sports, and did nothing but sports all my life through college also. So it's like I know what I need to do. It's just doing it. Also, no sodas right now. Haven't been on sodas for 3 weeks now. So I'm going into a month with it. It's slowly cutting sugar out my life. And it started by soda, because soda is one of my vices. And the next step is working on chips. Because chips is like my second vice. It's chips and soda. Cutting off things slowly. Because what I used to do back in the days, I'll just cut things all at once. And you do good for like 30, 60 days. And then guess what? When you slowly start eating it, and all of a sudden you just eat it all crazy, and that's how you gain the weight back so quick. So it just needs to be a habit, and that's just for me and my mindset, what works for me. So that's why I'm sharing what I'm doing, is slowly eliminating the things that I know that I do not need in my body.
Them little changes in our life, all when we repeatedly do it, it becomes a muscle memory, and then it just continues to be good things. But that's where we're at, folks. You tuning into whyuce podcast with Punimo and Queen, and here we are sharing our weakest point, which is a physical side of us. And I would love for our listeners that do have experience in this kind of area, you know, as we build our community, to reach out to us so we can work something out and figure how we can go about that. Because I think that will be nice too. It'd be amazing as we're documenting this, that who knows, a few years down the road, we're actually making the foundation, or I don't know what, but an impact, because that's what it's all about, right? Making change and bringing a light, being a light beacon into the world. Cousin, here's
Yes,
another topic.
talk to me.
Inner circle, your best friends. The only reason why I bring that up, because you know how the Bible says in Psalm 1, it says, I walling oi, oi. In English, I think it says something about when you hang out around with a thief, you end up becoming a thief.
Mm-hmm.
So choose your friends wisely. I feel like that also plays a case, health for fitness and living a healthy lifestyle. Like I said, the years that I was out there, it was because the circle that I was around.
Mm-hmm.
They're not my best friends. It doesn't even have to be your best friends, but I guess a community or a group of people that were, iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
I feel like that's what I need in my life. And unfortunately, where I'm at right now, none of my boys are near me. That does where I can be motivated, because that's where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Self motivation and fitness, guys, is
Yeah.
my weakness. I am a lover of food. When I tell you I'm a lover of food, I'm a lover of food.
Amen to that.
And, my motivation is group activities: volleyball, basketball, softball, football, you name it, the whole shebang.
Mhm.
Heck, even like tracking, like I couldn't believe I was doing, like, I believe it because, we ran in track in Samoa too. But yeah, doing that 3K miles, one, you know, shebang thing out
Yeah.
here. But the sad thing about it, y'all, uh, I am in a military family, and dang, I don't utilize none of that. I
Man,
know, man, that's so sad, y'all.
that's
It's,
hella sad. You need to start
that's hella
utilizing
sad.
all the resources available to you.
I know
Stop.
I got a free gym. I mean, I wouldn't say free. I'm paying for that. I'm paying for that. We got a gym and all that stuff. Everything you need. Everything you need to go work out. I have it. I just don't have a friend, y'all. Y'all might be like, well, what about your wife and kids? They're not they're not talented as I am. You know what I'm saying? They're gifted. I need competitiveness. Like, I need skills. When it's your own family, man, you can't really go ham on them or beast mode. You can't. You got to take it easy. You know what I mean?
Well, take your butt out there and find a friend.
I
Stop
know,
being
right?
selfish. Go share yourself with somebody else. Find
You know
somebody
what?
who's willing to compete.
You know what, cousin? I've realized that I'm shy. I'm an
Mhm.
introvert. I'm an introvert. No, okay, I'm lying. But I am when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're shy because you don't know that person. But once you get to know that person, that's when you just open up and you know,
Yeah,
all right. But you just gotta break that chain, brother, and just go out there and put yourself
I'm gonna try.
out there.
I'm gonna try because I do know a lot of family members that don't mind to just, hey, y'all playing ball, let's play ball. I don't have it in me. I try, but there's just some stuff that everybody's good at, guys. For me,
Oh,
instantly, there can be a crowd, and you hand me a mic to sing or to perform or MC. It's nothing. Everybody's talented and gifted in different ways. But for like sports and just going up to somebody like, can I participate? Oh man, I'm afraid of, like, it's weird. Everybody has their weakness, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's time for you to be comfortable to do the uncomfortable. So just put yourself out there.
Yep.
The inner circle part, I love that. Now
Hmm.
you talked about how the inner circle can affect your, the physical type where you work
Yep.
out,
That's
your
that's all
workout
I'm talking
partner.
about. Yeah. For
Yes,
me.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes. And it also has a great impact on your mental stability. Why I
Mm,
say this,
good
and
one.
also here's why I say this. You are, like you said, you are who you hang out with and you're associated with. People
Hmm.
can tell what type of person you are because who you hang out with. You may be not that person, but guess what? You are influenced by the people that you are around, whether you know it or not. People around you, if they're negative and you have your little inner circle and that person keeps either bringing you down or another person down, that causes a lot of stress because now, all that negative stuff, they're putting that, you're letting people put negative impact words onto you and you just keep that. You get so annoyed. Also, you're getting angry. I know this because I went through it. I just get so annoyed, but you talk your smack too. But guess what? Negative meeting negative, it does, it's not a good thing because you're just feeding into the gossip, into the negative stuff. So guess what? You're stressing, you have a headache, you're mentally drained. But once you start snipping all that and you stop talking negative and start speaking life into yourself and start speaking life into other people, encouraging others and being positive, if people want to lose weight and you're not the one that want to lose weight, as a friend, I would support that person who wants to lose weight. I wouldn't even buy, fast food in front of this person. If they want to go eat, I'm going to make sure I order something, just in support. That's the kind of friend you want to be around. And you will
Yeah.
have a great impact health wise and mentally wise because you want to be around positive people. So you got to keep your circle small. You don't need a big old circle. If you got to cut, you just got to those people understand if you're not going to hang out with them. If they ask why not you don't want to hang out, just tell them straight up, I'm trying to work on myself. Let me better myself. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not, we just got to move on. But yeah, the inner circle, it's key. It's vital. If it's just you and one other person, then that's fine. And yes, you'll just be out there socializing with other folks, but you know when to cut it off. You're not going to be best of friends. You're just associates for certain things. So that's my take on inner circle. But I do have inner circle of friends. We still keep contact, but we're distance. These are my college friends. These are my sisters for life. I love them, to the moon and back. And we get together once a year or every 2 years. But what I'm talking about is an everyday thing that you're actually around every
Yep.
day.
Yep. Everyday thing. Man, that's a good point you brought there, Queen. It does matter who you surround yourself with because it does play such a big role with your mental health. I mean, I'm thinking about the time I was out there. Yeah, they weren't my best friends, but they were just associates that we worked together,
Mhm.
that we happened to made a commitment that we will use our 1 hour lunch to go to the gym, like a 30-minute workout. And then the last 30 minutes, we had our lunch, but we ate together. And it was like holding each other accountable.
Yes. Yes.
So that is a good thing, you know. I mean, it's not for everybody. I wish I was like an independent person that can do
Yeah.
it on their own, you know, but unfortunately, not everybody's the same, you know. So
Mhm.
I feel you on that one. That's definitely a good awareness that we're talking about here, you know, and sharing it with our listeners.
Give a special shout out to
Mhm.
Gab Babs, GABBABS. And also, you want to listen to some little soul music in between? Tune in to Gab Babs.
So whether you're driving to work or working out at the gym or simply in a good mood to laugh, tune in here at whyuce. Don't miss out on the fun, man. Subscribe now and join our community of listeners who just know that laughter is truly the best medicine. Update with Chat GPT being our manager, turning our $100 into profit. Produce high quality content. Invest in good equipments, advanced editing software to ensure your podcast sounds professional. Consistently create engaging, valuable, entertaining content that resonates with your target audience. I just want to go back to invest in good audio equipment. I think we already shared our story of how we started our podcast. But let me get a little bit deeper with that, go more into depth with what me and Queen was talking about. It's crazy. We were on the phone and I was just telling her how us WeFob, when we're doing our podcast, as you can see, I got my mic. We have our devices here. You know, if you have questions of what equipment you need, a starter kit, tune in to wefobz.io. That's where you'll find all the information, guys. Anything that
Absolutely.
you need. Yep. To save you hours of research, just tune into wefobz.io, and we have a page there. We have our content, our contact that you can contact, and we will reach out to you as soon as possible. That is our update with Chat GPT, turning our $100 into a profit. So I don't even know if this is gonna be a segment, guys, but you know, we just feel like we're in the spirit of Ohana or the spirit of Ainga. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic over to Queen so she can share and give us listeners a word of encouragement or a word of inspiration.
Thank you. So, on the little clip I talked about self-care, this one, self-evaluate. At the end of the week or at the end of the day, before you tuck into bed, write down what went on through your day or the week, and then review and see what you can do to make that day or that week better. Self-evaluate.
Woosah. Self-evaluate, my folks. And I just have a quick shout out to G-Oose. If I said that wrong, my Oose Tat. You know who you are. we appreciate the comment, the feedback, you know. El Banger, Young Gene. Oh, shout out to Boo Boo. I know you tuning in, my little man. Those are the shout outs that I have. And to all those that are continuing to listen to us, we appreciate your support. And I'm your boy, Pony Moore.
And I'm your queen.
Cheers.